All right, injuries for practice. Ben Barch, ankle, will not practice. Trent Williams, ankle, will not practice. Bosa, hip oblique, will not practice. Isaac Garindo, foot, will not practice. D. Winters, limited. Mustafa, limited. Greenlaw, limited. Flanagan Fowles, limited. Yetur, limited. Go ahead.
Isaac, just on the extent of his foot and his chances for this week.
Same as what I told you guys yesterday.
You seemed hesitant yesterday to say that Greenlaw might be activated for this game. Is there a reason for that? I mean, is it not going as well, or was there a setback in the last couple of weeks?
No, I just haven't talked to him yet, and want to talk to him and see how this week went.
I hate social media, but yesterday, Deebo.
I don't hate it.
Well, it's not your favorite thing in the world.
You
don't use it.
I don't know how to do it.
You don't, yeah. Deebo knows how to do social media, though. And so yesterday, he said that he's not struggling, he's just not getting the ball. Has he expressed any frustration with you in terms of targets and production?
Deebo and I talk every day, so I mean, I understand Deebo saying that. Deebo wants to help us out, and the only way he helps us out is getting the ball more, and we'd like to get it to him more, and we'll continue to work at that.
When he does that, obviously it's more than just saying that. It can create a distraction, or people can perceive that in different ways. And maybe it can't be good for the team. Do you have any problems with that, or do you talk to him about, hey, maybe just keep that in-house?
Yeah, we'd always love things to stay in-house. That's probably why I don't mess with social media. I'm sure I'd get worked up and stuff too if I was reading stuff about myself all the time, and then I'd maybe make a tweet or something. But that's, I mean, is it a distraction in our building? No. I mean, we've got to answer questions about it. It's the first time I've talked about it, is right here. But I mean, Deebo and I see each other every day and talk about stuff every day. So my advice is to not let outside frustrate you, because just answering those things isn't going to help you in any way. Usually only hurt you. But as far as like what we deal with in our relationships and our team, it's water under the bridge.
Part of this, Kyle, is, I mean, you guys scored 38 points on Sunday. It seems like the offense has found its rhythm that it's been looking for all season. How do you feel about the offense right now?
I mean, I liked how we played last week. So I mean, it's a week-to-week thing. It's you know, we played good in that game, and you know, I thought we hadn't played that well the previous 3 weeks. You know, we did versus Tampa the week before that. So we haven't been as consistent as we'd like, and hopefully we can string 2 games together in a row here.
We had a couple kickoffs that didn't reach the landing zone there. What was going on? Was he trying something, or was it just a slip, or what was happening?
No, he was trying to, when you wind up, to try to boot it out so you don't have a return. Sometimes you don't hit the bottom of the ball correctly. You hit the middle of the ball and don't hit it right, so he just shanked 2.
What have you thought about the play of Pooney and Mustafa, a couple of rookies who have played a lot this year?
I think they've helped us out all year. I mean, they came out real strong and showed right away in camp. Pooney earning that starting position with, you know, 2 injuries, I think, in the first 3 days of camp. So he's basically been the starter since day 3, and he acted like the starter right away, and he's continued that throughout the year. Malik in his opportunity with some injuries also, but both of them been playing at a high level. You know, it's tough this time of year for all these rookies. They're usually done around this time, so I know it's a challenge for them just with their bodies and everything, and keeping up with the wear and tear, and having to play through some of the soreness and the injuries and things like that. So, but I've been real impressed with them. They helped us a ton, and they're going to be good Niners here going forward.
Now that we're almost 2 years into this, is it almost frustrating that the Rams have had Cooper Kupp and now they've found Puka Nacua, who's kind of playing out of his mind last few weeks?
A little bit. I'd rather them not find really good players, but teams do, and Kupp's been one of the best here over however long he's been playing, and Puka showed last year he's one of the best, and he's continued to prove that this year.
Deebo addressed the team the other night. Is that something you would have expected to see him do maybe a couple years ago, or when he's a rookie? How would you categorize his maturity from the time he got here to now?
A ton. It's he's still working at public speaking, but just Deebo from his first year to his second off season, you know, he came in and did pretty good right away. I remember versus Green Bay, with about 17 seconds on the clock, he had a bust in coverage, which was a big play that got him into field goal range and had him beat us on the last play of the game. And he kind of lost his confidence after that and kind of went, you know, was just quiet, didn't talk that much. And but when he came back that offseason, you could tell like something had clicked, because just the energy he played with, how he was in the building every day, and I think after his first year, just how he approached work every single second and the love he has for football kind of showed up to our whole team. And I thought the next step was trying to get him to speak a little bit in front of the team, which he was a little reluctant to do, but we encouraged him some, and he pulled it off.
There's some entrenched leaders on this team that have been on the team a long time. Why did you feel that Lenore was ready and that he was the right man to do it at that time?
I think I just like people with authenticity. I mean, Deebo's a very real dude. Sometimes you don't want guys who always talk all the time. You know, we got a lot of guys who can speak well and who are leaders, and it always starts with what you do on the field. But how he plays on the field, the way our guys respect him, and it's always cool to hear some guys who don't speak up that much.
What was Brock's message when he spoke Saturday, and how do you feel like he's asserting his leadership on this team?
I thought it was good. I mean, Brock is definitely one of the leaders on our team. He's been that way since he took over as quarterback, and but I think the guys just enjoyed hearing him talk. I mean, I think everyone knows how Brock is, and he's consistent as anyone in our building. But anytime your quarterback gets up there and says what he's expecting to do the next day, what he's expecting from the guys around him, carries a lot of weight.
Javon Hargrave doing, and what's the plan for him for 2025 after you guys tinkered with his contract?
And the plan is for him to be a Niner. I mean, I don't know about the contract tinkering. That'd be more of a question for John and Parag, but I think that's just mechanics of contract stuff, but things I don't look into until after the season.
Being somewhat tired because they're usually done at this time of year, is that something you can prepare them for, talk to them about, or they just have to kind of go through it?
I mean, you can try to tell everybody everything, but usually people don't believe you until it happens. So you just try to tell people how it's coming, that it usually happens just with experience of being around it. You try to tell them that throughout the year, so they kind of set up their routine at the beginning of week one, a little bit in training camp, and you try to never differentiate from that routine. Sometimes rookies, you know, they get to week 4 and it's not that big of a deal. They don't have to go through their routine, but once they get it around now they're like, oh, now I get what you're talking about. I should have kept with that routine. So we pick up on that stuff or talk about it all year to prepare them for this moment, but it still does hit them, and you just talk about the reality of it. I mean, it is going to hit you. You do feel that way, but that's why you got to make conscious decisions and understand it is normal. But it's stuff you got to fight through because too many people are dependent on you.
I know, based on where you are in the standings and what's left ahead, does this feel like the playoffs are ready?
Yeah, last week felt like the playoffs already. So, you know, since that Buffalo game, every week is a playoff game. So it feels like it this week, and hopefully we can take care of business so next week feels the same.
Kyle, has your dad said anything to you about Garendo reminding him at all of Ricky Waters? That seemed like very similar.
No, he hasn't, but I do love Ricky Waters, and hope Isaac turns out like Ricky. That'd be awesome.
I feel like Leonard Floyd has turned a corner recently. I don't know, last month or so. He just seems to be more impactful when he's out there.
Yeah, I mean, his results definitely. I mean, I think he's gotten some more production as far as the stat sheet and everything, but Leonard's just an energizer bunny. It's crazy with him being one of the older guys and stuff and how many different teams he's been to, but, you know, I've played against him enough and felt that, but just guys who've known him, talking about how he practices and everything, you know, Staley being with him in a number of places, telling us how he is, and, you know, you always think about bringing in an older guy and stuff. Are they not going to be able to practice? Are you going to have to take care of him? And I mean, he's one of our hardest workers every single day. I mean, he set the tone in practice last week, coming in on that Wednesday to our Thursday practice was our last one on full pads, and you would have thought he was the one who was demanding that we went full pads. Just the way he goes about everything. He loves football, plays so hard, and usually when you're like that, eventually the numbers come.
As a head coach, would you prefer a player to step up and deliver a message like that in a crisis time than to do it yourself? I
don't really have a preference on anything. My preference is whatever gets the best effect, and so you got to balance that off differently. I mean, we're with each other all week, so if a player does it 6 days in a row or a coach does it 7 days in a row, I don't think that's ever the best deal. You'd like to hear it from different people, but the main thing is what's the result, and so it's got to be the right player. It's got to be the right message from a coach. It's got to be all that.
Are they going to have to use features again because it was so effective?
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. So they might have to do it. All right, guys.